favorite settings. Good afternoon, morning, evening. Does anybody know what time it is? Hi, it's Jacqueline with Intuition Power and Stuart Elliott with CoachStuart.com from Guilin, China. I'm calling in from Reno, Nevada. It's been kind of a dreary day. We're expecting snow in the local mountains for the next 2 days.
Well, you can keep the snow. We've got rain, but you can keep the snow.
But one thing's weird. We have where I am, there's kind of like a private park in the back of our 3 acres here. Different apartment complexes with a couple little houses. And going outside several times today, the back park, I've never heard so many teeny little birds, like hundreds of birds, all chirping away. I think because it already started to become spring and everything's green, but the last few nights it's been getting down to freezing, and now we're going to have snow again for a couple days.
Yeah,
They're confused.
The birds know. I mean, it's beautiful when you hear that dawn chorus, or, even during the daytime, but they do it here before spring is, visibly arrived. They just wake up one morning and say, that's it, spring's coming. And they know something that we don't. I mean, about a month ago, I saw the first swallows arrive. And I know they say one swallow doesn't mean summer's coming, or whatever the expression was. Does not a summer make, I think it was. But now they're all over. So they know.
Summer's coming. Like,
well, yeah, it's been in the 30s centigrade, and the frogs are going absolutely crazy because of the rain, and they're everything is coming to life. The flowers are out, trees are flowering, scent is in the air. I mean, it's summer and spring is a beautiful time.
I know. I'm just waiting to plant my garden of food, because otherwise it will be
the other year you mentioned about, you just looked up from when you were swimming in the pool, and all of a sudden the trees were green. You had a blush of green all over them, didn't they?
Right.
Almost in a few minutes.
Within 2 days, they went from bare branches to full blossoms.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I really saw anything like that. Having grown up in next to Santa Monica, Los Angeles, and the beach, where we have flowers and sunshine 360 days of the year or more. And so we don't have really seasons there, but here where I am, we do have seasons, and it was just awe-inspiring just to sit there. What was happening is I was doing laps in our pool, and it's geothermal water, and I'm like stopped at one end, and I look, and everything's a little bit blurry, the trees, and I'm thinking I'm seeing this green hue over the branches of the trees and around. And I do a couple more laps, and I open my eyes, and again, it's like, it's more green. And I'm looking around now to other places, and there's all the sticks now have this green haze. And literally the trees were opening their blossoms in real time. It was just shocking to me. And then when I got out of the pool, I ran over to my neighbor who works with lots of school kids, little 7, 8, 9-year-olds at different. He does music assemblies and special events at the schools all around the area. And I said, please call all the mothers and grab their kids and take them outside and just have them look at what's going on in nature right now, that you could see it happening in real time. It's
incredible, the speed with which nature can react. It really is beautiful.
And that's one of the reasons why I encourage people to pay attention and do meditation or some kind of ritual at the new moon and the full moon, because there's energy there,
Mhm.
and it's like riding a wave. And if you start to learn to surf, and you learn to swim, and you start to learn to surf, you're literally having a ride on nature, Mother
Mhm.
Nature. And it can be exciting, it can be amazing, and then you get really good at it. For some people that are real, the daredevil kinds, the 20-30 foot waves that are like, are you kidding me?
Mhm.
and and right now we're having more of the 20 and 30 foot waves each new moon and
Mhm.
each full moon. The intensity of the energy and the repetitive messages and patterns that are coming in to people's lives, that if you take a dream interpretation class, it becomes very obvious. I teach a dream interpretation class about once every 2 to 4 years,
Mhm.
and I think I'll be doing it this fall. But I gave an inspirational talk about Lake Tahoe Sunday, and I was talking about that, the waves, and on the way up, there are two ways that I can get up the mountain, and I took the most direct route, and I got all the way at the top and then partly down, and then right when it's either, here's the one road to the lake, you either go left or go right, and there's a whole bunch of police cars and a man standing there turning me back down the mountain. And it was like, wait a minute, I need to go that way. Nobody's going that way. Somebody just, what happened? Somebody just passed away. It's blocked. It's not going to open up for a long, long time. Go down the hill. And I said, how about if I go around the other way? Well, that's a 2 hour drive. It's like, no, I have to be there in 45 minutes. I'm like, if I go this way, I'm 15 minutes away. If I go that way, it's 25 minutes down the hill all the way and then up a longer hill. But I got there right after it started, so that was fine.
Mhm.
But uh, the idea of repetitive messages, as I was driving today, I was making a turn, and just as I made the turn onto the freeway, again, there was a fatal car crash, two cars. And I don't normally see car crashes, especially fatal ones. And what I said to when I arrived at the Unity Church on Sunday, um, I said, I think it had just happened like a few minutes before,
Mhm.
apparently. And I said, I just immediately, as soon as I found out, I just sent up prayers, and for the soul that was making the transition. And then when I told the director of the center, she got total confirmation chills, and she said, that's why the timing was perfect for you to be there at that time, to set
Mhm.
that intention of light and support to that soul. So
Mhm.
but the fact that this happened twice within 48 hours in my life, that I got to see that, I'll take that, I'll write it down as if it was a dream, and I'll interpret it and see what the message is for me to move forward with that message.
Yeah, and we can have interesting messages. I mean, sometimes we can get scary messages in dreams and they become nightmares, don't they? But they're still
Right,
telling
right.
us something.
Right. Well, for some people, showing up and having that happen would be like a nightmare. Like, oh my God, somebody just
Mhm.
died. Da 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 da. Uh, the timing, it was. If I'd been there 10 minutes sooner, would I have been in the middle
Been
of
involved.
something?
Yeah.
Uh, just all kinds of things. Maybe I should have been there 30 minutes earlier, and who knows? The idea is to not second guess yourself, and to just trust you're in the right place at the right time. And the more you start working with consciousness, clearing the things that you help people do so effectively is one of the most important ways of making progress in your life, to clear the subconscious mind of all of the frustrations, angers, hurts,
because
shocks.
we pick up a lot of things and just store them, and as well as physical things, but a lot of thoughts, a lot of events, whatever, occurrences have happened to us, we put it and we store it and we carry it around with us, and it becomes toxic.
Well, only becomes toxic if you carry the emotional shock
Yeah,
connected with it.
the
But
negativity that
yeah, it's okay to remember
practice it.
the event. Uh, in fact, sometimes it's important to remember the event, but not the pain or emotional shock or
Yeah, I mean, a great example is if you say you've been trying to put a picture up and you hit your thumb with the hammer, it hurts like heck. So you remember that event, but you don't carry the pain around with you, but you have that warning. So
right.
that's the type of thing that we need to remember, but not the actual the nastiness that's happened all the time.
Well, yeah.
Not relive the nastiness, should we say?
Yeah, and hopefully the event helps you to either take a class and learn how to do it better, or to refine your focus. So usually when we have an accident, it's our focus has wandered from the event for a moment. And
Yeah, and
sometimes,
it's a warning message in effect, really, isn't it?
yeah, be
Sometimes it's a
present.
bit extreme, but it is a warning.
Yeah, yeah. Be present, that's the gift. Be present. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
that is a very important statement, because how many people are actually going about their day, but they're thinking about something in the future, they're thinking about something in the past, but they've got no connection to what's actually happening in that moment. And that's why quite often we do have those accidents.
right. I got that lesson from my teacher, one of my main mentors when I was in a protege situation. Someone had just talked to me about the inner world, inner earth. They just started working at the office I was at, and 5 o'clock we were packing up and leaving. We were chatting, and I was telling her some metaphysical things that I was studying, and she was like, "Oh, have you heard about this?" And back and forth. And she said there was this platoon, military platoon that hiked up to the North Pole and continued, and all of a sudden it got green, and it was a whole different world that they were in. And the way that she described it, it sounded so fascinating to me and so believable, but at the same time, like, how could that be? So I leave there and I drive over to my mentor teacher home, where I would volunteer a couple days a week. And I walked in so, excited. Oh, have you heard about blah, blah, blah? Yes, it's all recorded. Admiral Byrd went up there with the platoon, and then she filled in some details, and she said, "That's not why you're here. Don't get distracted." And it's not why you're here right now to volunteer, but that's not why you're here on the planet right now. That's not, there's so many, what do you call them? Little mouse holes. I don't know. What do you call them? Rabbit holes.
Events.
There's so many different rabbit holes that
Oh,
can
okay.
go down. Is the earth flat? Is it real? Is it round? Is it I thought that was an absurd question until I had a roommate, and every day for the first 3 months when I'd come home, flat earth, flat earth, flat earth. watch the video, watch the video. And just to get him to stop it, I said, okay. And I watched this 90-minute video. And I have to say, ever since, I will never, ever scoff the flat earth again after you watch the video, because they give you science that is jaw-dropping, shocking, like, yeah, that's the way that works. Well, if that works that way, then this other thing cannot be, the word earth cannot be round. I still don't buy it, but I don't no longer scoff it, because I've seen the other side of the explanations that are mind-bogglingly, all I can say is shocking to what we've been taught. And it actually, I mean, it's just, I can't even comment other than I will no longer ever scoff that concept. Do I believe it at this point in time? No, but I understand where they're coming from now.
Mhm.
So seeing things from the other side, there's a very simple technique that that I don't know if I could do it right now, but it's basic. Here, maybe I can't. Hold on. It's here's a good one. It's like, tell me what you're looking at. What color is this?
Green.
And I have to say, I'm looking at the same thing. I'm holding up something and I'm looking at the same thing. And you're crazy for saying that this is green, because it's clearly not green from my perspective.
Mhm.
I don't know how you could be saying that, because, and then if you come around and look at it from my perspective, you'll see that it's not green, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm seeing yellow. It's the same. I'm holding something up. And how could you be saying it's green? It's like, no, it's yellow. All right. So because you're looking at it from that side, I'm not looking at that side. And I'm arguing with you, you're wrong. How could you be so ridiculous to say it's green? And I'm clearly, and when you are able to then look at it from my perspective, well, I can see there's a little bit of green right here, but how could you say the whole thing is green? It's yellow. Um, and so if I come around and, oh wow, I see what you're saying now. I see that you're looking at it from that position, and clearly it is green from your side.
Mhm.
So
And this is a big problem with communication that we have. We don't, or we're not even taught, I don't think, that people see things through their own experiences, their own perspective, and we can be both looking at the same thing, exactly the same, and we see something totally different. I mean, the great way of explaining that is you go to a movie with a friend. You sit there watching the same movie, and you come out and you talk to each other. You've watched two different movies, but you've been sat there watching the same screen the whole time.
right, yeah, and you come from different backgrounds, but different
Well,
training.
all that comes into it, doesn't it? It's
Right.
our lived experiences, our perspectives, the way our brain works and interprets signals, etc., etc. I mean, I was out in the
Some
countryside
person,
once with
some
my wife,
person, okay.
and I looked up at the sky and I could see a phoenix in the clouds, a proper phoenix. I said to her, "Do you see the phoenix?" "No, you're crazy. What's wrong with you? I just see clouds." But the way I interpreted it, it took on the persona of a phoenix. And it was beautiful.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
saw three typhoons, on a weather map off the coast of Japan and Taiwan. And it looked like a face. They had three separate typhoons, two eyes, a nose, and the clouds was a mouth. And it could see a face there. Other people couldn't see it.
uh,
And that's the problem. We're expecting everybody to see things exactly the way we see them. And that causes a lot of issues in communication. What
right.
about your glasses? You put them on your head and you can't see them. You look in the mirror, you can't see them. but somebody else, they're on your head. Well, what's wrong with you? Because we're looking for a
Yeah,
particular
and
representation.
that. Right. So with that, all of that, you've got the that syndrome, that, what do you call it?
Well, imposter syndrome, it
Imposter
is,
syndrome.
yeah, it is a big challenge for many people. I mean, it it can cause a lot of procrastination. I mean, it's something that we pick up sometimes as a very young child. There was a gentleman I was on a call with, and he couldn't give a speech. He was the CEO of a company. He couldn't give a speech because he felt like an imposter, that nobody was worthy. He wasn't worthy of them. And it came from a childhood incident at school where he was told to get up in front of the class and give a presentation to everybody at 4 years old. And everybody laughed at him because he was so nervous. And he ran out of school and carried that around with him for the rest of his life until he was able to recognize it and free it up. But imposter syndrome it can have its roots in grandparents. It can be, it's a very insidious little beast. And
And it could be a lot of adults I know a gentleman who's very successful
Mhm,
and doing some amazing work in a technical field,
mhm,
globe trotting because of his work, having great measurable successes because his bonuses are based on that. And
yeah.
he takes a lot of vacations. He's got a family and kids. He's doing really well financially. So, and then he sends me this thing on the um, imposter syndrome, which was the first time I heard of it. And we talked, and he was starting to feel victim of the imposter
Mhm.
syndrome, even though his
Well,
numbers were great, his bonuses were great. He had an amazing, what other people would see as an amazing life and lifestyle. This internal doubt started creeping in, and almost for a very short period of time started to unravel him.
mhm.
You
Well, I
know,
mean, the imposter syndrome could have been the driver of his success in one way. He never felt good enough, so he had to try harder and harder and harder and become more successful to prove to himself that he was worthy. And so it can manifest in many ways. And our belief system is very powerful. I mean, Psycho-Cybernetics, the book by Dr. Maxwell Waltz. And there was a story about a salesman in there who had figured that he was a $5,000 a month salesman. And the company decided, okay, this guy is very successful, because this was back in the late 40s or 60s or something like that when it was first written. Let's put him to a poorer area, not a not so lucrative area, and he'll be able to up the sales. He couldn't. He got to $5,000 a month, no matter which area he was in, whether it was a highly lucrative area, a poorer area, whatever. That was it. And if he was making his $5,000 before the month end, he went sick. He physically became sick because his mind had created, this is who I am, $5,000 a month, and I can't go beyond that. And it's the same with the imposter syndrome. I can't do that because I'll have to justify who I am if I don't live up to my own expectations.
right? We set, it's almost like setting a room temperature, a thermostat.
Yeah.
And once it's set, the thermostat's job is, if it goes higher, the air conditioner comes in to bring it down. If it goes
Mhm.
lower, the heat comes in to bring it down. And the thermostat, its job is to maintain status quo,
Yeah.
whatever you set it. So the same thing, T. Harv Eker, who started the original Peak Potentials,
Mhm.
uh, talks a lot about that in his
Yeah.
Millionaire Mind um, workbook and programs, that people need to change the dial on their thermostat for
Mhm.
not only finances, but the level of health
Happiness,
or
everything.
relationship flow, whatever it may be.
Mhm.
And so using hypnosis, using neurolinguistic programming, using people like you that describe how you work with people.
I just talk to them, but there's a lot more to it than just a simple conversation. Actually, it's more about hearing them and hearing what is really there, um, the thing that's holding them back. People might talk at the surface level about this is preventing me from doing, but there's always something much deeper which
Talk
holds them
about
back. And
talk about the results for a moment.
well, the results are that people all of a sudden they wake up to there's more to life than I ever thought possible, that I am good enough. And that is one of the things that secretly holds many people back. They're not good enough. Maybe they've got successful parents, so they don't think they can ever measure up to them. Maybe something else, it doesn't matter. But when they have that awakening, shall we say, that I am actually good enough, I am, worthy of respect, I can respect myself. That's like stepping into a whole new world and
That's
seeing
a
things for
big
the first
one.
time.
It's one thing to say, because as a coach, from the coach side that of the work that I've done, uh, to say that is one thing, but to then step into living that as a reality
Yeah,
is completely different.
it's monstrously different. You cannot. It's like chalk and cheese. Totally different. And so many people, they have this nagging suspicion that they're not good enough. They can't respect themselves because they can't put a real name on it, because my nose is too big, because my ears are too big, or this ear is smaller than the other, or whatever that is. But they create that to justify why they can't respect themselves. But when they get past that and they step into that level of self-respect, it's like it's mind-blowing for them. It really is. It's beautiful to see that result.
How quickly do you, I guess it's individual by individual.
Yeah, I mean, again, how long depends how long they want to hold on to it for whatever reason. Sometimes people can have that epiphany in a couple of hours. Sometimes it can be several sessions because there's so many layers to get through to get to the core of what it actually is. I mean, just to give you a very brief example, there's the lady I had a conversation with, and we were looking for something which was a very special happy moment from in the past. And she went through several of them, and each time she dismissed them. Each time you could hear from her tone, her emotions, her energy, that this wasn't the real one. And that took about 20 minutes of her going back. And then all of a sudden, bang, she hit one, and she just lit up. And you could see this is the real moment that she was looking for. And from there, we were able to work with that moment. But some people have got layer after layer after layer after layer that they've collected and put there to protect them from something that happened. But that's no longer necessary, that protection, because it's a different time.
Right. So it's
And
really
you
about
mentioned you
healing.
mentioned NLP before. There was a beautiful demonstration I saw of this lady who had a severe phobia of snakes. She, you put her in a 200-foot long room and there's a snake introduced at the other end, and she would really panic. Well, it took a while, but apparently when she was about 7 years old, she'd fallen into a big tree hole where her father was taking out a stump of a tree, and there was a nest of snakes there. They weren't poisonous, but there was at least 30 to 50 snakes, and
Oh my God.
it really hit her hard.
Yeah.
And from that day on, she couldn't go near a snake. Well, they managed to clear that and put that memory away in a safe place, and emphasize there was no harm done to you or anyone else, and that before you were happy and after you were happy. And then she was able to touch a snake, and it took about an hour and a half.
That's
But
amazing.
that's pretty damn quick when you've had it for 40 years.
Right.
So, you know, the mind is a very powerful thing. It can create these blockages, but it can also release them with the right assistance. And, you know,
Right.
that's what you do as well, isn't it? I mean, you had that gentleman who had a memory from when he was in the forces the first time, and he had to clear a plane crash as his first job on the duty. And then that had been locked away. And suddenly, 20 or 30 years later, it had appeared again from nowhere.
Right. A friend of mine was an executive at agency and would fly back and forth to long distance, uh, e- oftentimes once a week. And he would have a drink or two and no problem. But when he got to Los Angeles to visit, he said, I think I'm becoming an alcoholic because I can't get on a flight. Something happened. I don't know what. I can't get on a flight without drinking a few drinks. And then I drink the whole way through the flight. And then I get off the flight and it's gotten so bad I have to fly in a day before the meetings, where prior it would never be a problem. I could just get off the flight, go to have the meeting, sleep over, get finish up, and then get back to New York. And so we talked, and he said, no, there's no friends, nothing that I can relate to that was ever bad about a flight, flying. It doesn't make any sense at all on any level. And 5 minutes into a hypnotic, relaxed regression, all of a sudden he like turned white and he goes, oh my God, and what happened? And he said, first time out of boot camp, he said he joined the Air Force, and the first day on an Air Force base right out of boot camp, they sent me out to the runway and there was a plane crash, and my job was to take the burnt dead corpse out of the plane. And he said, and as I recalled it under the hypnosis, the colors and the smell and the sound was so overwhelming. And he said, I can't believe I forgot all of that it ever happened. So our memory puts certain bubbles over tragedies until we resolve and deal with it. So if by the end of the session, he could access the memory, it was like reading, and by the way, instead of front page news in blaring color, it was like, well, now it's black and white. Now it's on the third page. Now it's like one little sentence at the back of the newspaper. And by the way, this situation happened once. So he still had the memory, but the blaring sensory overwhelm and was now diminished and resolved. And so when he flew back a couple days later, I spoke with him and I said, how was your flight? He goes, that was fine. I had a couple drinks. And I thought, oh, no. He goes, no, it was a long flight. I would have one or two drinks. It's fine. I was great. No problem. And my boss met me. Are you okay? Because by then the boss knew what was going on. And he goes, yeah, no, I'm fine. It's like, no problem. It's no problem anymore. And it never came up again as a problem. So the power of the mind and the power to heal and to resolve buried memories is definitely something that people can utilize. It's easy. You do a free session for people. And I keep saying, really? There's so much value there. You should have it even just by donation. And
well, it won't be there forever. Maybe one day you'll go to my page on coachstewart.com and you'll see the donation, please. I'll find a good worthy cause for the donation, and
right.
at least you're getting value and someone else is benefiting at the same time.
Right. So how did people get in touch with you?
The best way is to go to my website, coachstewart.com, COACHSTUART.com, and they'll find the big buttons there to press to contact me or to book the subconscious strategy session.
And it's just talking on Zoom or the phone?
It's a one-to-one on Zoom, yeah. But when we say just talking, there's obviously a lot more than just
Right. Is
talking.
there anything that they need to do to prepare for the session with you?
Just commit to go. If once they get to the calendar, they'll see a question. It may seem stupid, but are you going to turn up for this call? And nothing's going to happen unless you turn up.
Do they have to have something in mind that they want to work
No,
on?
no, because they'll come with whatever's necessary in the moment. And if you've got something in mind, it's quite obvious, quite often that isn't the real problem in the first place.
Ah,
We do that. And the conversation is deep enough for me to hear and get past those blockages and those false flags, if you like, so we can start working with the real issue.
awesome.
Sometimes you don't even need to know what the real issue is. Your unconscious can do it and keep it away from you because you don't need to re-experience it or relive it.
Okay, well, that's go to coachstuart.com, COACHSTUART.com.
Yeah.
If you're interested in dream work, that's the fall, this fall, be teaching the class. The Intuition Power Masterclass will be this summer. So make sure that you commit to that and transform your life in a really amazing, fun way. Things will never be the same. You blow up a balloon
In a nice way, though. In a nice way.
in a fun way. You blow up a balloon, and if you let the air out, the balloon is never going to be the same size. It's stretched. So whether you use your intuition consciously and you're constantly told how to do that, or it just goes running like a program in the background, and all of a sudden it's there for you when you need it, when you want it. It's the before and after of both working with Stuart or working through my classes is mind changing, life changing in a positive way. So hopefully you'll press that share button. You never know who can benefit by watching this. And if you don't press the share button, it's less people that have the opportunity. And I want to thank you for joining me. We'll talk again next week, hopefully.
Same time, same place, and then we'll have something other interesting things to discuss.
Sounds good. And thanks to everybody for joining us.